Imagine walking into a quiet apartment in 1932 Stockholm, expecting to find your friend, but instead discovering a scene from a nightmare. Blood everywhere, a body drained like in a horror tale, and no sign of the killer. This is a chilling story of the Atlas vampire, a mystery that still sends shivers down spines almost a century later. Join me as we dive into this true crime saga, exploring the lives touched by evil and the questions that remain unanswered. Picture this: a young woman, alone in her small apartment, opens her door to a client. It's a normal day for her, but it turns into her last. On May 4th, 1932, police break into Lilly Lindeström's home in the Atlas area of Stockholm. What they find is horrific. Lilly, 32 years old, lies naked and face down on her bed. Her head has a deep wound from a blunt object, like a pipe or heavy tool. Blood stains the sheets, but strangely, there's not much left in her body. Reports say her corpse was almost fully drained of blood. Next to her, a gravy ladle covered in blood sits in the sink, hinting that the killer might have used it to drink from her wounds. No screams heard, no signs of fight, just silence and death. This disturbing scene gave the case its name, the Atlas vampire murder. It's the kind of hook that makes you question if vampires are real, or if humans can be even worse. Before the horror, Lilly lived a simple, everyday life that hid her struggles. Born in Sweden, she was a divorced woman trying to make ends meet in the tough times of the 1930s. She worked as a prostitute, meeting clients in her tiny apartment near St. Eriksplan. It was a one-room place with basic furniture, a bed, an ottoman, a chair, and a small kitchen area. Neighbors knew her as friendly and quiet. She paid her rent on time. Her last payment was on April 30th, 1932. Lilly had a close friend in the building, Minnie Jansen, who was also in the same line of work. They looked out for each other, sharing things like condoms when needed. On the surface, it was a domestic routine. Work from home, chat with friends, live day by day. No one suspected danger lurking in her normal clients. This facade of ordinary life makes the crime even more shocking. Evil hid behind a door she opened willingly. Lilly's life wasn't always easy, and small choices led to her tragic end. After her divorce, she turned to sex work to survive, which put her in risky spots. On April 30th, she was seen alive for the last time. That evening, she visited Minnie to borrow a condom for a client. She came back later because the first one broke, borrowing another. This shows she was active in her work, meeting men she didn't know well. The downward spiral started when she lent her final visitor, likely a client who seemed normal at first. Maybe they talked, had sex, as a used condom was found. But then, things turned dark. The killer struck her head hard, maybe with something he brought. He took his time after, folded her clothes neatly on a chair, cleaning up a bit, but leaving the bloody ladle. No one heard anything in the busy building. Lilly's trust in her routine spiraled into vulnerability, ending in silence over days until the smell gave it away. The reveal came on May 4th when Minnie grew worried. She hadn't seen Lilly for 4 days, which was odd since they checked on each other. Minnie knocked, but no answer. A janitor noticed a bad smell and called the police. Officers forced the door open and stepped into the nightmare. Lilly's body was on the left side, head on her arm, blood from the wound dripping. The apartment was tidy, no mess, no fingerprints, no hairs or cigarette butts left behind. The autopsy confirmed blunt force trauma as the cause of death, with the wound from temple to neck. Sexual activity happened, but the killer was careful. The most devastating part, the blood. While some sources debate if all was drained, the ladle suggested the killer drank some, like a vampire. Police found condom wrappers and drew sketches, but the reveal was clear: this was no accident. It was calculated murder, and the killer walked away free. After the reveal, police debriefed quickly. They questioned clients from Lilly's list, but no one stood out. The case went cold fast, with evidence stored in the Stockholm Police Museum: hair clippings, nails, drawings. Public reaction was huge. Newspapers called it the vampire murder, sparking fear in Stockholm. People whispered about real vampires or a madman, with a blood fetish. Women in sex work felt unsafe, locking doors tighter. Even today, the case haunts Sweden, discussed in books and podcasts. No justice for Lilly, just endless questions. The debrief shows how even careful police work can fail against a smart killer. Minnie's part starts with worry turning to horror. As Lily's neighbor and fellow prostitute, she was the last to see her alive. On April 30th, Lilly borrowed condoms from Minnie twice. Once, then again after the first broke. Minnie thought nothing of it, just friends helping out. But days passed with no sign of Lilly. By May 4th, the disturbing hook hit. Minnie reported her missing, leading police to the body. Imagine being the one to trigger that discovery. Finding your friend murdered in such a gruesome way. Minnie's simple act uncovered the vampire-like scene, pulling her into the nightmare forever. Minnie lived a similar life to Lilly, quiet, working from home in the same building. They shared a bond, watching each other's backs in a dangerous job. The facade was one of normal neighborly help, borrowing items, quick chats. Minnie seemed like any working woman in 1932 Stockholm, keeping to herself. No one knew how close she was to danger until it struck next door. This everyday friendship masked the risks they both faced daily. Minnie's spiral began with growing concern. After April 30th, silence from Lily's apartment worried her. She knocked, called out, but nothing. The smell started, and with the janitor's help, she alerted police. The downward turn was realizing her friend was gone, spiraling into grief and fear. As a witness, she told police about the condoms and last sighting, but it didn't help catch anyone. Minnie's life changed. She became part of the story, forever linked to the murder. When police opened the door, Minnie likely waited outside, but the reveal hit her hard. Seeing or hearing about Lily's drained body and the ladle must have been devastating. She confirmed details like the borrowings, helping piece the timeline. But the reveal showed how close danger was. The killer could have targeted her too. Minnie's role exposed the vulnerability of their world. In debrief, Minnie gave statements but faded from the spotlight. Police thanked her for reporting, but the case stayed unsolved. Publicly, she was seen as the brave friend who raised the alarm. Reactions praised her, but also pitted her loss. Today, Minnie's name lives in case files, a reminder of how witnesses carry the weight of unsolved crimes. The killer's hook is a myth itself, the Atlas vampire. This shadow figure struck once, draining blood like a monster from folklore. On April 30th, he entered as a client, killed with precision and vanished. The ladle, bloodied, suggests he drank from Lilly, a disturbing act that branded him a vampire in headlines. Who does that? It's the hook that keeps the case alive, a human monster still out there. We don't know the killer's real life, but imagine him blending in, likely a regular man, perhaps a client who seemed normal. He might have had a job, family, hiding dark urges behind a facade of everyday Stockholm life. This unknown normalcy makes him scarier, evil hiding in plain sight. His spiral was building to the kill. Maybe past urges or fantasies led him to Lilly. He brought a weapon, struck after sex, then methodically handled the scene, folding clothes, using the ladle. The spiral peaked in that apartment. Then he slipped away, spiraling back into hiding. No more known crimes, but the act shows a deep darkness. The reveal is through the crime scene. Careful, no traces left. He cleaned the condom, took the weapon, left nothing. This devastating cunning meant police had little to go on, revealing a smart, cold killer who enjoyed the act. No debrief for the killer. He was never caught. Police chased leads on clients, but nothing stuck. Public reaction was terror. Vampire rumors spread, locking doors at night. Today, theories range from a blood fetish to a one-time act. The debrief is ongoing, an unsolved puzzle fueling true crime fans. Investigators face a hook of frustration. Led by figures like Alvar Zetterquist, they entered a clean crime scene with bizarre clues. The drained blood and ladle disturbed even hardened cops, hooking them into a case that defied logic. Before the case, Police live routine lives. Patrols, reports. This facade shattered when called to Lilly's apartment, pulling them into the macabre. The spiral was the investigation stalling. They questioned dozens, collected evidence, but leads dried up. The downward path led to a cold case, spiraling into unsolved status. Reveals came in dead ends, no fingerprints, no weapon. The devastating truth: the killer was too clever, leaving them empty-handed. The case was archived at the Stockholm Police Museum. Publicly, criticism hit for failing to solve it, but sympathy too. Reaction: ongoing fascination, with calls for new looks using modern tech. As the story unfolds, tension builds. From Lilly's quiet life to the bloody reveal, fear grows. Many's worry adds heartbreak. The killer's shadow brings dread, and investigators' failure leaves hopelessness. Each layer stacks emotion, making you feel the chill of 1932 Stockholm. The build-up peaks in mystery. What if the vampire strikes again? It's a roller coaster of sorrow, shock, and wonder. And so, the Atlas vampire fades into legend, but Lilly's story lingers. A woman lost, a killer free, a city haunted. If walls could talk, what secrets would they share? This true crime reminds us, darkness can hide anywhere. Thanks for joining this journey. Subscribe for more chilling tales. And remember, lock your doors tonight.
Like and subscribe.